David here with Figboot on Pens. Today I have for you another brand new limited edition pen from Visconti. And that pen is the Visconti Homo Sapiens Midnight in Florence. What I'm going to do is go over the parts and features of the Midnight in Florence, talk about what I care for, what I don't care for, show some measurements, size comparisons, and provide a writing sample. Thanks go out to Visconti and their US distributor Coles of London for providing this pen on loan for review. So let's take a look at it. This is the Visconti Homo Sapiens Midnight in Florence. This is a limited edition of 888 pens, but this is not a numbered limited edition. At least the number is not on the pen itself. Now there might be some accompanying documentation which has a number, but I'm not sure about that. Now you might only be familiar with the Homo sapien models made from lava rock, like this one here, but they actually have several other models in the Homo sapien lineup made from various types of resin. The cap and barrel of the Midnight in Florence is CNC machined resin. The material is part, I'll kind of spin it around, you can see, it's part transparent, part translucent, and part opaque, with purple and dark blue and black and a silvery gray colored swirls. This is a pen where no two are going to look alike. The patterns and the material are going to vary. I have a feeling the caps are going to look fairly alike, kind of with the darker purple, but the barrel is the part that's most likely going to vary a great deal. A portion of the trim is palladium plated, like the clip and the finial and other parts like that. But the other parts, the two bands on the cap as well as the band on the barrel, are solid silver. So let's take a look at the finial. On the end of the cap, there is the Visconti logo. This pen, like most other Viscontis, utilizes their My Pen system, where you can use a magnet to remove this insert and replace it with a number of other offerings. During one of my trips to the fountain pen hospital, they actually were nice and gave me a D and a P insert to use on a Visconti pen, and that when you have two letters, they kind of fit together kind of in a yin-yang shape. I was on vacation, and the pieces were rather small, and they somehow got misplaced in my baggage. So who knows? Maybe they will show up one day, but I'm not quite sure where they went. Then we have the traditional arched Visconti clip representing the Ponte Vecchio Bridge in Florence. On the clip, in raised letters, it says Visconti, and the space around the letters is filled with a pearlescent white acrylic. Now, when it comes to the lacquering on Visconti's clips, I've seen some done better than others. This one is actually very nice, and the letters look very crisp and clean. The cap angles up slightly, and the distinguishing feature of this cap are these two solid silver bands. Now, over time, these will tarnish, so you need to polish them every so often for them to maintain their good looks. There is a step down to the barrel, and where we have a solid silver band which says Homo Sapiens. You can see above the band that the pen utilizes Visconti's hook-safe capping mechanism. With this capping mechanism, you don't simply twist the cap, you actually kind of push down slightly and then twist. The barrel is straight for about an inch or so, and then there's a light taper down to the blind cap. And the end of this blind cap is slightly rounded. The nib on this Visconti pen is their standard 23 karat palladium nib, which I find to be very smooth on this pen with just a hint of feedback. And I like the stamping on Visconti's nib as well. I think that looks kind of nice. And here's a look at the plastic feed. The section is slightly concave, and it isn't exceptionally long, so you'll find more often than not your grip is going to be resting on the hook-safe grooves, but they're kind of blocky and not sharp, and I don't find that they impede your grip, even when you're resting right on the thread. I do find this pen to be comfortable in the hand. It's a nice weight, and it's not overly heavy, but it's not too light either. The cap does post, and it does post securely, but even though the cap isn't extremely heavy, I do find it slightly backweights the pen and throws off the balance a bit, so I prefer to use this pen unposted. This pen actually utilizes Visconti's power filling system, which is what they call their vacuum filling system. This model has a double reservoir, and what that means is that there is the large main reservoir here in the barrel, and there's also a part here in the section which holds a bit of ink. When the blind cap is twisted all the way down and the piston seals off the opening between the chambers, then the ink doesn't pass through. And then when you write, the pen pulls from the forward reservoir. And then once that's been emptied, you simply unscrew the blind cap a bit, which opens the seal a tad. The ink from the main chamber flows to the forward chamber. Then you seal it back down again, and you're good to go. The Visconti Homo Sapiens Midnight in Florence is available in both a fountain pen as well as a rollerball. The fountain pen retails for $1,180, and the rollerball is a bit less. At an authorized dealer, you'll typically see about 20% off of that price. So you will see these for sale at a little bit under $950, which is in line with a number of other Visconti limited edition models. It just hit the market, and so you'll find it available at a wide variety of online and brick and mortar retailers. I do like this model. I think it looks rather sharp. The nib is fantastic, and I like the subtle pearlescence on the cap, as well as the varying swirls on the barrel. I always like matching up a pen with a specific color of ink. To me, this is a pen which screams to be used with a nice dark purple or lilac ink, which would look nice sloshing around in this barrel. Thanks again go out to Visconti and Coles of London for providing this pen on loan for this review. I've enjoyed taking a closer look at it. So now it's time for some measurements, size comparisons, and a writing sample. Here we go with some size comparisons for the Visconti Homo Sapiens Midnight in Florence. Here it is with a Lava Homo Sapiens model. Then here it is with a Divina Desert Springs Visconti. And then one more Visconti. This is it with a Opera Crystal Midnight. And in regard to some non-Visconti pens, here it is with a Mont Blanc 149, an Aurora Optima, and a Pelican M805. So here we go with the writing sample for the Visconti Homo Sapiens and this is called Midnight in Florence. This particular nib is a medium 23 karat palladium nib. And the ink that I'm using, which I think pairs well with this purple, is Lamy Dark Lilac. This is what the ink looks like. This is one of my favorite purples, one of my favorite darker purples. I like it a lot as well as Cross Violet. And then this is what it looks like with another one of my newer favorites, which is the Mont Blanc Beetle Psychedelic Purple. And then this is what the Lamy ink bottles look like. I know they came out with some new crystal inks, but this is what their ink bottle looks like. It's kind of nice because it comes with some paper so that you can wipe off your nib. And let's get on with the rest of the writing sample. I find this nib to be very smooth with just a touch of feedback. I really like this one. This particular Visconti nib is very pleasant, and I really care for it. You can get a little bit of line variation if you push it just a little bit. And the ink flow, as usual with these nibs, is outstanding, especially for a medium nib. And in regard to some reverse writing, it's It's a little sharp, but it does lay down an extra fine line in regard to some fast writing. The feed has no problem in keeping up. So there we have the Visconti Homo Sapiens Midnight in Florence. And I think this is a good addition to the Visconti line as well as the Homo Sapien line. That I think there'll be a lot of folks out there that like the coloring and the looks and the feel of this pen. So thanks again go out to Visconti and Coles of London for the loan of this pen for review. It'll be heading back to them shortly. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.